and welcome to the Wanderful Pair, where two travel agents with very different perspectives collide. I'm Jessica, the queen of couples getaways, and this is Tracy, the magical mama conquering family travel with a sprinkle of chaos. We're bringing you unique insights and experiences, whether you're dreaming of a child-free adventure or planning a family vacation. Each week, we'll kick things off with travel tidbits, highlighting the latest travel news, or sharing some amazing recent client trips. And then we'll dive into a segment called Beyond the Booking, where we chat about life outside of all of our travel agency fun. So buckle up, get ready to explore with the Wanderful Pair, because we're about to make your wanderlust dreams a reality. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, I'm so excited to be doing this with you. I've wanted to do this for so long, so I'm so happy to finally start getting all this together.
Yes,
it's been a journey so far. I don't know, when did you start with Swan and Sparrow? I started right before COVID, so
yes. So as the little logo shows, we are both agents with Swan and Sparrow Travel, which is how we met, which I cannot believe it's been 5 years this
I know,
month.
me neither.
So we're sitting in January of 2025, and so I am an agent both with, me, myself, and I, but also my husband. We're a team. Where I know, Tracy, you're a solo gal, but we got approached by our agency owner in Disney in December of 2019. So and then we launched in January of 20. So really good time to.
Oh my goodness. So you were like right before me, because I started, I think that summer of 2019 is when I signed the contract. And then we went on our first big, group family trip right before COVID. We actually got home, back home to New Jersey, and they shut down. They shut down Disney World. My husband went into work, I think, one day, and then that was it. And then we were home for months and months and months and months.
Wow. Yeah.
So, but I use that time to really just reflect and learn about different destinations outside of Disney. I know you're a Disney adult like me, but we really started going there because I wanted to experience the magic of Disney through the eyes of my young children, who were 1 and 3 at the time. So it was like the perfect time to really start there, like getting them really addicted. It's just a great time to kind of learn about what else was out there. Like I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so Universal was always a thing for us, and horror nights. We're big horror people.
Oh.
And I are horror freaks. I know.
No. Why would you pay to be scared?
I don't know. It reminds you of what it's like to be alive. It's I don't know. It's just so fun. And we've met so many people going down to horror nights. And obviously we're very social people, but like we'll talk to people online and we'll go through the houses together, because if you've never experienced horror nights, it's not like a one-on-one situation. You go, unless you're doing even like some of the tours, they kind of just go in, kind of ahead of us, but it's still, it's like an assembly line of people. So they do this so the lines don't get so backed up, but okay. it also is just, it's so funny. And it's just like a big bonding moment to be with these strangers that you just met in line and probably said 2 words to, but now they're like, they're hearing
now you're like hugging them
about,
like push them into the scary part. Like you go first.
Yeah. So we literally, my husband's done that. So, but we were big, like horror aficionados always. Like I met my husband and he was like, do you like Dario Argento? And I was like, who's Dario Argento? And like, I just went on this like horror journey with him. He wanted to be a makeup artist and special effects person growing up. He made his own movies. Cool. Super into horror, super into, just pretty much every obscure horror film that you can imagine, he's watched. So I learned a lot from him. And then our Universal trips were, basically for us because the kids were too little. I just recently took them last year. It was like really the first year that both children could do the majority of attractions. So, but yeah, so back to my original, By the way, everyone, I tend to go on these like long tangents. It's just who I am.
We love it. We love it. Well, no, but I want to know. So you mentioned like how long you've been an agent, but like how did that whole thing get started? Why did you wake up one day and be like, I want to be a travel agent? Like what happened?
So I worked in e-commerce for many, many years. I left that industry to start a family. 9-to-5 jobs are pretty much non-existent now, and they have been for quite some time. So, having two parents that had to commute to the city, was just not ideal. The cost of childcare, very expensive.
Yeah.
And I basically wanted to be like, I was raised by my grandmother and my parents, my father, very blue collar family. My father was a police officer. My mom put herself through school, worked part-time, and they made time for us when they could. And, it was we had a great family dynamic. But my parents live in Florida. My husband's parents live an hour away. So it just didn't make sense for me to have someone who was not a relative in here raising them all the time. So I went back to school, became a photographer, started doing photography in the local New York City hospitals, then taking on personal clients. And it was something that I could, while I was trying to get pregnant and go through all that, it was something that I could kind of set my own schedule and be more, a little bit more local, or, not having to go into the city every day. And then when the kids were born, I did that for another 2 years, but then it became too much because we started, they started, wanting to go places. We wanted to put them in dance and other activities. And now they are 9 and just turned 7. And now I'm basically an Uber driver after 3 o'clock. So I used to it was just my nature to plan trips. If we did big family trips almost every year, whether it was renting a house down in Florida or, somewhere relatively close where we could all kind of connect because my family is all over the place. And we started with Disney, taking Emma on her first birthday, and it became kind of like a thing. So I had just had Lily. We like to plan because we're such a large group. We like to plan at least, 11, 10 months out. And then my brother's also in the military. So, the more time I can give him, even though he can't really commit to anything up until pretty much the last minute, is good. So we started talking about a big Disney trip for Lily's first birthday. And I was like, I can't. I have a 3-year-old and a newborn. There is no way I can even remotely think about doing this. So I reached out to my cousin because she was posting travel content, and she's, also a flight attendant, and was posting lots of travel content. And I was like, hey, do you happen to know any travel agents? And she said, oh yeah, my friend Joan, she's fabulous. Joan also worked at the time for Swan and Sparrow. So Joan and I really hit it off. And I just loved how easy it was to connect with somebody, like literally speak my vision for, what our dream vacation was. We had never stayed in a deluxe Disney hotel before, so that was a priority.
Okay.
I had other family members that didn't, want to spend the same amount of money on a resort that we did. And she coordinated all of it, did our dining, our fast passes at the time. This was like, pre-Genie, pre-Lightning Lane multi-pass, as you know. So did all that stuff, and it was just so fabulous. Like made our dining reservations. We got everything we wanted, and we were a group of 15 people, and we got everything we wanted, and it was absolutely fabulous. And I didn't have to worry about it, so it was so great. And then, during that time, people saw that I took my children young. Right. They saw us in Disney, all the time. I always posted pictures, and a lot of people started to ask me, how do you take your children to Disney World, like a major theme park, with infants? How do you do that? Isn't that stressful? Isn't it tiring? And I'm like, any vacation is going to be a little stressful. Any vacation is going to be a little tiring because your kids are your kids no matter where you are. However, Disney was very accommodating. They have baby care centers. You design the trip with that in mind, and you don't have the expectation to kind of like do it all. You pick your priorities, right? So, I used to give people tips. Like they'd be like, I'm going to Disney, what are your must-dos? What do you recommend? Where should we eat? Blah, blah, blah. And my husband says to me one day, he's like, why don't you consider doing this? The kids are in daycare. One was in school at the time, preschool. he's like, why didn't you consider doing this instead of stressing so much about photography and being, I was a natural light photographer. So that meant like certain hours of the day. Right. So I looked into it. I reached out to Joan and she's like, well, let me see if, our agency owners, John and Shelly, are hiring. And she connected me with Shelly, and I loved her, and we had a great rapport right off the bat. And that was it. And I love them, and they're just amazing people. And I'm so grateful that I got introduced to this company, because every person that works for this company is just an amazing human being. And I love how we're all collaborative. We're all together in this. We lift each other up, which is so important to me, because, so many people in this space kind of like tear each other down. Or you see like certain comments, somebody posts looking for an agent, you see just not great business practices come into play. And I love that our agency is just focused on providing great customer service, that we're all passionate about travel. We're all passionate about just each other in terms of like supporting one another in our success and our business. And we're not competitive at all. So that's how I fell into it. And I love it. I fall more and more in love with it as I go on. And then, as my daughter was diagnosed several years ago, and now I've been able to learn more about not only her disability, but other disabilities and special needs individuals. And travel is certainly not always accessible to them. And I've met a lot of families who in that space are kind of really anxious about travel. Even going through an airport, they don't want to think about getting their child through an airport. So I've been able to help those families, and now that's my new niche. And now I'm just more fulfilled and more passionate and more driven than ever, because these people, any person I get to send and go away, I'm just like living, and it just makes me so happy. I just sent somebody.
You're living vicariously through them.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's another thing that's so great about this career. It's that I'm not, you're sending people away to make memories with their family, with their friends, with themselves.
Yes.
And it's a great thing. It's an awesome thing to do for someone. And I always like to say, I don't sell trips, I provide memories. So it's just an awesome thing to do. And it's just, I need something that's fulfilling. Like I worked in corporate America, and it was just not, I was a writer. It was just not, it didn't heal my soul. It didn't do anything for me. I'm a people person. I don't like being stuck behind a computer all day. I like talking to people. I like helping people. So this really allows me to do that. But I just sent someone to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and to the New Sandals Resort. And, her and her fiance work so hard. They own their own business. They work so hard. They treat themselves once a year to a beautiful vacation. And I was so excited to send them away, so excited for them to experience this. And I literally teared up when she got there and she was posting videos. They had a beautiful kind of like one of those swim out suites.
Yes.
With their own private like tub on the balcony, and it was just all open and gorgeous. The resort was supposed to be beaches, so a lot of the rooms are huge, and her room category had a huge walk-in closet with like a vanity and everything. I mean, it was huge and gorgeous. So, but like, I don't know. They had an amazing time, and I was just so happy to see that. It warms my soul. It really does. And then when I have these mamas that take their precious angels away, and they tell me, how happy they are and how my tips have helped them, and how grateful they were to make memories together and be able to have a nice vacation. It really means the world. So
that's what it's about. It's like. Yeah. It's finding the place that they want to go. Maybe they come to us and they know where they want to go, but they don't know how to do it. Like our Disney stuff. I think people, obviously, like I'm known as the Disney person in our group of friends. Ironically, it's actually my husband who's been going more often than I have. His family has been going every year since his parents went there for the honeymoon in the early 80s. We have a receipt.
Wow, that's awesome.
We have a receipt from the Contemporary Hotel for $30 a night.
$30.
$30. It is not $30 anymore. No, not
No,
anymore.
not even close.
But we went again when I was like, I went when I was a kid, but we went once we got married, and I've fallen into it, fell in love with it. But then, like I said, we were in Disney World. I might have told Tracy this story before, but it is yeah, we were in a monorail and I was talking to somebody because I don't know strangers. I was just probably giving some kind of advice and saying, like, hey, if you're new here, you need to go do this or make sure you go do that, or what have you. And I then go into Epcot. We're going through security. Like, this is a good, like, 5 or 10 minutes after deep after we've gotten off the monorail, we've gone into the park, and a guy runs up to us, clearly trying to catch up and like huffing and puffing. And he was like, excuse me. And I was like, wait, did I like lose something? Like, what did I lose? What is going on? And he goes, I'm sorry, I have to ask, are you a travel agent? And I go, no, but I mean, I probably should be. And he literally takes out his card and hands it to me, and he goes, well, I own a travel agency and I think you would be amazing. You need to be a travel agent. And that was December of 2019. My husband and I talked about it. We have been thinking about doing something in the travel space because I'm an event planner by trade. I have a public relations and a theater degree. So I've been doing events for nonprofits and for then weddings. So I've been planning weddings since 2012. So it was like kind of a natural extension of our hospitality, like our love of hospitality, of creating space for people and having them create an experience, like take that memory, that travel memory. But I did it in other ways. And yeah, we started our agency in January of 2020 and got really, like you said, we got really good at learning about all of the other things that we can sell. So I think I didn't realize, I mean, we used a travel agent on our honeymoon back in forever ago that sent us to Europe. I didn't really know how any of that worked, and the agencies or the industry has changed so much. It's kind of gone back and forth. It's been through a lot.
I remember when travel agencies were like brick and mortar stores. I mean,
Right.
like brick
So
and mortar. Like,
Disney was a big part of that, of getting them out of the brick and mortar, getting them into the home based, and it's changed a lot. So we learned a lot during 2020 to figure out what we wanted to sell. So again, it's just me and husband and the rescue pit bull. We don't have kiddos, but we also travel with big groups. So when mother-in-law, father-in-law want to go, that's immediately a big group. My brother-in-law recently got married. It's not recently, it's been 4 years. So now there's babies. There's a niece and a nephew and 2 nephews. So I travel with babies as well. So I can talk that, hey, we want to make sure that you're not staying. We want to put you on the monorail line so you don't have to break down that stroller at the end of the night. Things like that. Those little pieces that, oh yeah, you can get a cheaper hotel, but you know how annoying it is to have to deal with a stroller. Like maybe that's fine, but like asking those questions of people so we can align their right hotel. It's like choosing their venue for their wedding. We want to make sure that we're choosing the right place that is going to give you all the things you want at a price that would work for you. But we looked at Disney. We love planning Disney. It's our bread and butter. But we also love cruises, and we're starting to just adore the all-inclusives. So like the sandals you were talking about, the sandals and resorts that's in the English-speaking Caribbean. That's just, it's the most beautiful places. And the food is so good, and they just hand you drinks. And it's just, I had never been to an all-inclusive up until, 2022. I had never done one.
I got married at an all-inclusive. I got married.
In Mexico?
We got married in Playa del Carmen, right outside Playa del Carmen. It was probably one of the best vacations we've ever had. Sans obviously children, but everybody was there. My grandmother was there. It was one of the last vacations that she was able to take with us before she got sick. My nephew, who's like a junior in college now, about to turn 21. He was our ring bearer, an itty bitty, just amazingly beautiful memories. I remember looking around there were 60 of us that traveled there. And I remember looking around at everyone and kind of like taking it all in. And just looking at everyone, just laughing, dancing, having a great time together, and just trying to soak that in as much as possible. And I started to get a little weepy because I'm like, when are we all going to be together like this? When's the next time? And it's sad and amazing at the same time. We had an amazing week there, and we still also talk about it. But the sad part is we try to like, hey, in 5 years, let's all go back together again. Let's like have a wedding redo. And just life gets in the way, which also kind of like fuels me to really, when people come to me and they don't really know where they want to go, or how much money they want to spend, I want to get them away. So, trying to find something that works for them, that meets all their expectations, that meets their budget, just so they can go away and take a break. And our lives are so fast paced now. Like even my kids have a bunch of activities, dance, soccer, and gymnastics. And, I'm happy we're able to provide that. But at the same point in time, like I feel like our Monday through Friday is so crazy. We're like passing ships in the night. Before we know it, it's the end of the year, and we have to take stock of what we did together as a family, because but my husband works 2 different jobs. He's an actor, and he's also works in IT. So yeah, again, no 9 to 5, right? So having these trips allow us to kind of reconnect. So I want everybody to be able to reconnect. I want everybody to have that experience, because you need to. It's important. Travel is really important. And, I hate saying this, like, and that's why, like, we just kind of make it happen in our house, no matter what's going on. Because I don't want to say like, oh, maybe next year, or maybe next year, or maybe next year. And then Emma's ready to go to college, and there is no next year,
Next year isn't promised, not to be a downer, but
yeah.
tomorrow isn't promised. So like doing it today, like my brother talks about, like when we took him to Disney, he goes every other year with us now, with my mom's side of it. And he told me that the best part of Disney was standing in line. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said that no, and this is a grown man, like now married, and like, but he loved the time to stand in line because that's when we talked. And that's when we
that's a nice way to look at things.
Just talked and chatting. And so again, when I have clients who are upset because, whatever ride is Peter Pan is going to be an hour and a half in line. And I go, well, maybe we wait until a little bit later, but it's okay if that's the line. Like that's the time that you're connecting. It's just, it gave me a different way to look at it. And I still don't want to wait an hour and a half for Peter Pan, but still like
I love that.
That's the point. No, this is amazing. I love this. Well, we're going to have lots more things to talk about. We're going to try to bring on some interviews. We're going to see if we can bring some of our other agents, because we have an agency. I don't even know how big we are, like 30, I think.
Like I think 30 so agents. Now. Yeah. Yeah, no.
And everybody has like a little niche, right? Like Tracy, you're amazing with like kiddos and with neurodivergent kiddos. Mike and I tend to be the the honeymooners, and just the we're leaving the kids at home. So we'll go talk to Mike and Jess. I mean, we're the ones who can tell you how to drink around the world without going to the ER.
Have you like I have never made it more than like 3 countries.
No, you have to share. This is the key. You have to share as you go around. But we really love going to festivals. Like our goal is to get to every festival booth when we're there.
What's your favorite one?
Our favorite festival is Festival of the Arts.
Oh, that's mine too. I love that one. So yes, it's the shortest one. Like, such a bummer.
Artsy. So we are going there in our trip is next month for a conference. And so we will be checking out the end of Food and Wine. But yeah, what's your next trip? What do you got?
Well, I'm really excited because we're leaving in, I don't know, like 2.5 weeks, I think. I have to look at the calendar. I get a little bit of travel anxiety because packing the kids and just making sure the house is in a certain situation. We rescue cats. So we're like crazy cat people over here. So our like 3 cats have to be well taken care of, and they have needs. Yeah. They have lots of needs. Well, my father-in-law loves to joke that when he dies, he wants to come back as one of our cats because yeah. So, but we are going on the Disney Treasure, so we are super stoked. So we'll be in Disney for 2 days prior to that, having fun because we can't really. It's hard for us to be in Orlando and not go there and not go to Disney. We went to Universal Studios at the end of August, and we were like, all right, let's just we're already here. What's one day? Let's just buy a ticket to Mickey's Not So Scary. What's another $500?
Right. Totally.
So, but yeah, so we're super stoked. We took our first cruise as a family last year on the Disney Wish, and it was the perfect introductory cruise because my husband was terrified he was going to be claustrophobic or get sick. I was nervous because my kids get car sick. I was also nervous because I didn't know how Emma was going to react on a boat because we have things that we do when we go to Disney, so that we need to do. So she's, in a good place. So I was really nervous about that. I was nervous about leaving her alone in the kids' clubs and all that stuff. But it actually turned out to be probably the best vacation we've ever had as a family. The only negative thing I will ever have to say about that experience is the fact that it was 4 days. So, I mean, I felt like we packed it in. Like we did the Palo brunch. We, we went to all the parties. We saw the shows. We watched a movie. We watched Wish on the Wish. So we did everything that we wanted to do. And it felt like we had like a jam-packed schedule. And, then we got off the boat and then I took Emma snorkeling for the first time and then like tried not to weep as we're looking at the fish below because she's never seen anything like it. She has had issues with, she's got sensory issues. So sand and things like that and being wet and like feeling the sand is not fun for her. She did good. She lasted about half a day. So, but yeah, she did good. We had a great time. And so the second we got back, I knew the treasure was coming out. I started looking at itineraries and, I was like, yeah, we're going. And I can't believe it. Because when we booked it, it was like the kids, like Emma has like no understanding of time or the passage of time or anything like that. So she's like, when are we going? Is it like now? Is it like tomorrow? And I'm like, no, it's in 375 days. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, how long is that? Like, I'm like, Emma, that's over a year. But what do you mean? We're not going down.
What is a year? I can't. She can't.
But it's interesting because it's like planning a wedding in the sense that you plan so far ahead and you book this thing so far ahead. And then it's like in the back of your mind, it's like, oh yeah, it's next year. And then like a wedding, it's like, oh my God, it's like, coming. It's coming. We got to go.
But it's this year.
I've been reading everything there is to read about the new ship. I've seen videos of the new ship. Everything that Disney sends us about the new ship, I'm like enthralled by. I've talked to our BDM about the ship. So
you're gonna have so much fun.
For those who don't know, like our BDM is our connection to Disney, like our business
development manager.
Yes, and she's wonderful.
All right. I want to say thank you for joining us on our first episode of The Wanderful Pair. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode of all of this silliness and fun. And don't forget to follow us on social media for travel inspirations and behind the scenes fun. So it's time for us to go make some travel memories. We'll be back soon.
Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy.
And see.
End.
There we go. Hold on. And recording.